morning, everyone. My name is Bob Benty, and I am the President and CEO of 1010 Development Corporation, the Managing General Partner of Casa Carmen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's a warm day, so get some shade. You may want to avail yourself of the pergola back there, compliments of AEG. We like AEG a lot. I want to start off by especially thanking Mayor Garcetti, First District Councilman Cedillo, and good timing, perfect timing, and Sean Spear from HCID LA, Housing and Community Development. In addition, I'd like to thank the offices of State Senator Durazo, State Assemblyman Santiago, and Supervisor Solis for their staff for showing up today. Casa Carmen's a journey that began about 10 years ago. Now it says go faster. I know a number of developers have a similar story, but humor me for a moment. Wait a sec.
Just speak up.
Okay.
I was taking the reverb off.
Oh, okay, thank you. You know, audio, visual, mayor. He does it all. He does it all. Have you thought about going to work for the Bureau of Engineering? Be careful, Bob.
President of the U.S.
Be careful, Bob. You know, what was here before was a small commercial building and a kind of ancient Victorian that housed 5 families in less than ideal conditions. And we had to remove those, and it was always a struggle, but we got it done. Our first idea was to do a small family project. We had a meeting, first time I met Carmen Vaughn, and I met her with Irene Lewis of the Salvation Army Red Shield, and Sylvia Saucedo of Saucedo Group, and the senior lead officer with the LAPD, Patty Brindell. And after about 30 minutes, it became perfectly clear to me that a family project was probably not going to work here. But Carmen kept coming back and saying, what about seniors? What about seniors? We went back, restructured the financing, and came to the conclusion that we could do a senior project that was permanent supportive housing. And this is what we've done. Homeless senior housing was not something that everybody wanted to have at this corner. And of course, you know, we work with all the neighborhood groups. And when we went to the Pico Union Neighborhood Council, and I walked into the large auditorium where the meeting was being held, I noticed that there was some blue tape, painter's tape, laid out. And I thought, wow, that looks kind of like a floor plan. Well, one of the participants, one of the neighbors, had taken our design and laid out a floor plan, and he was passionate in saying, this is too small. People can't live in something like this. This is just too small of a project. And I told him, I said, well, yes, it is small, but it's larger than the front seat of a Toyota Corolla. We then had our vote, and we had unanimous support from the neighborhood council. We then started the fun part of getting your entitlements and getting your financing. And our entitlement process starts with the LA Planning Department. And that was the best experience we've had. It was excellent. I don't know any other way to describe it. And I especially want to thank Laura Steele, who's here today, for helping to push this project through. She was our champion early on. So now we're to the really fun part, which is putting the financing together. You know, the question is, how do you put together this multi-layered wedding cake? Well, it took a lot of people and a lot of commitment. The first financing we got was really not equity or debt. It was vouchers from the County Department of Health Services. And these vouchers supplied rent support, and they also supplied services, and they also supplied furnishings. And these vouchers were absolutely critical because now a small project was able to operate without the need of permanent debt, and that for a developer is unusual. When we had when we got the vouchers were administered by Brilliant Corners, who's done an excellent job of working. Then we needed a service provider. I say, who are we going to go to? Well, we found Path Services, actually. They were referred to us. And working with Path has been, everybody's in line. We all work together. It's been going fine. And I want to really thank Jennifer Hartdietz and all of the people at staff at Path and their staff for putting us together. We were now to the point where we need to go apply for our financing. And the financing, a couple of times a year, you get to respond to a notice of funding availability, and hopefully you get awards. Well, the first one we got was from the Department of Housing and Community Development, the State Department. And they provided us with a permanent supportive housing loan. Then we got a loan from the city's Housing and Community Investment Department, HCID. Then we got a loan from Council District 1. Thank you, Councilman. And then finally we got a construction loan from Citibank. And now we're ready to go. But we still needed equity. We got that from R4. They have done a lot of work in Southern California and a lot of work in the city of Los Angeles. And without that equity, this project wouldn't have happened. And finally, I just want to call out the development team, and it's a very good team. First, I want to recognize and thank the 1010 Board of Directors for sticking with me through this long process. It was not easy. They questioned, why are you doing this so small? Because this is what we're supposed to do, that's why. Valued Housing, Peter Barker, Chris Kolbenschlag, Lizeth Chong. They're a great general partner, a co-general partner. It's just been good to work with them, and we're looking at other projects right now. Onyx Architects designed this building. And because we're in an HPOZ, a Historic Preservation Overlay Zone, there were a lot of design challenges. One of which is the facade that's on the front of the building along Burlington and along 11th. They had to design the building so that they could preserve the facade. That was not easy. And if you'd really like to hear some stories, talk to Rog or Steve Kaczynski, and they'll tell you horror stories about building, apartment building, behind a brick wall which is held together by masking tape and a prayer. But then we had to build it, and that was Westport Construction. And Westport Construction, Jay Eastman, Robert Otway, it was a challenge. And we were able to bring it in pretty much on time, just a little bit over budget. But we were able to bring it in, and that's what's important, and they have been wonderful to work with. We had a construction manager on site, S.L. Leonard and Associates. They kind of kept everybody in line as much as possible. It is like herding cats when you're on a construction project. And then the interior design work was done by Placed Design, Christy Wolf. I don't see her here yet. But if you walk around and take a look at the community rooms and the common area, you can see that it's really an inviting and warm environment. And finally, I want to thank Tanya Ortiz and Sheena Rodriguez, our project managers, who on more than one occasion have peeled me off the ceiling as I was ready to go kind of nonlinear. Anyway, I'm incredibly proud of the work that's been accomplished, but I also acknowledge that Casa Shalom is just one small part of the solutions to solving the homeless and affordable housing issues that confront the city of Los Angeles. And leading all of us in prioritizing and actualizing the solutions to this much larger project is our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Eric Garcetti. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Let's give it up for Bob one more time. Bob, thank you for your tenacity. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your love of the community that is here. A very good morning. Buenos días. ¿Cómo están? How's everybody doing? What a great, great day. First of all, let me start by thanking the residents. Thank you for opening up your home to us. Gracias a los residentes por su hospitalidad. It is incredible to be here on this day, to be a part of not just marking history, but making history. To Carmen and her entire family, thank you for the vision of this community. This is the beating heart of Los Angeles. Pico Union is one of the very first suburbs of Los Angeles. Can you imagine this being a suburb? But it is now the beating heart of LA. And it is amazing to be here with 24 beautiful Angelinos, and as we say in Spanish, your third age, tercera edad, to be able to celebrate what should be the most beautiful part of your life, one in which you have the safety and security of a beautiful place to live, not to be on the streets, not to be in a car, not to be someplace where you can't enjoy the golden years that you deserve. And some of those residents that are here today, I hope that you felt that greater sense of security and comfort. Ustedes merecen estas viviendas. Your life has led you to this point of where you deserve this. And I know that might be tough to hear, but you do. You deserve to be here. And I'm so proud to see this as truly as a city of angels. To be here with my brother, Garcetti, whose vision for the first district, I think he thinks it's number one and it's number one. And he's doing great work stepping forward with bridge home facilities, affordable housing. We're practically at an opening almost every month together, and it's a reflection of you and your staff's commitment to the idea that everybody should have a roof over their head when they go to sleep at night. We've had, there's this presidential campaign going on. I don't know if any of you heard about it, but we've been having a lot of people who've come through the city and sat down with me, and I'm, like most of you, shopping for who I'm going to vote for. It's nice that California matters for more than just donations. We're an early primary state now. And when they ask me what's important, one of the things I say is, look, to win my support and the support of folks that live here, we want to see national leadership on housing and on homelessness. 1 out of 4 Americans that apply for housing assistance from the federal government get it. 1 out of 4. Can you imagine if 1 out of 4 people who needed food stamps got it? Or 1 out of 4 folks with a disability got SSDI? We make those things universal entitlements because we believe in a country and a nation where we lift everybody up. But we have this twisted system right now when it comes to mental health, when it comes to housing, that we wait till you're at stage 4 before we intervene. And we should be looking at stage 1, early detection of mental health and physical maladies, but also the need for housing. And imagine if we had a country in which 4 out of 4 people applying for Section 8, 4 out of 4 seniors looking for affordable housing, 4 out of 4 veterans who are on our streets could all be housed. We know that we could see, when people ask me all the time, how do we end homelessness, Mr. Mayor? Well, we're doing heroic work here. We've taxed ourselves twice. The state is beginning to step up, and we appreciate the state's work in this. But without some national answers, we are going to continue to see us opening great projects like this, but still seeing people in tents just a block or 2 away. But to Bob and the team at 1010 Development for your hard work, to all the city departments who have made affordable housing a priority. And the leadership, Garcetti isn't just the council member, but he's also the chair of our housing committee in the city council, and working together with our planning department. I appreciate that feedback. I often hear other feedback, sometimes from problems we get in departments, but we really are trying to make it that if you're building affordable housing, you go to the front of the line, because we need to have this stuff move as quickly as possible. To the entire Pico Union Neighborhood Council, for your support, all the hardworking people who made this happen, our Housing Community Investment Department. We're celebrating today is progress, and we're going to see a lot more of it in this year. We live fiscal years at the city, so from July 1st to June 30th. And in that time, we have right now 5 bridge home shelters that are open, but we're going to see 21 more open up by July 1st of next year. 2,000 beds that will take people off our streets. And permanent supportive housing, we now have over 150 projects funded, under construction, and in the pipeline right now. That is an amazing number. So I, as impatient as anybody, I'm like, when are we opening more? When are we getting more groundbreakings? But you are the tip of the spear, Bob. You're going to see month after month after month more of these opening up. We now estimate that it is over 13,000 bedrooms or units worth of affordable housing for folks that have been experiencing homelessness that will open up in those projects. So whether you're on a fixed income or scraping by on Social Security, we know you don't have to be homeless to feel this housing crisis right now. And it will define our city's success. Since I took office, we've built more than 1,100 units of affordable housing specifically for older Angelenos. And we know that, hey, one thing we all share, we're all getting older. Even Carmen over here, maybe the youngest for who's here, even she's getting older every single day. So there will be that day when you will be a senior, Carmen. I got the gray hair coming, it's just the job, but we all need to have strategies for dignified aging and aging in place and programs for our older Angelenos who want to contribute and have the stability that we're here. We have another 570 senior units in the pipeline right now, whether it was opening last year Crenshaw Villas in South LA, an affordable development for LGBT seniors that's under construction in Hollywood, Casa del Sol in the Valley, which is Prop HHH funded, and every unit is for seniors that have experienced homelessness. In Sun Valley, Pico Robertson, Pico Union here, the first phase of construction on the Westmore Linden is nearly finished. And when it's done, there will be there in Pico Union another 93 units of affordable housing for seniors. So our goal of hitting 10,000 units is not a ceiling, it is the floor. Like I mentioned, we will get to 13,000 and beyond. And please, if I can ask, because I always like to organize at these moments, call your state legislators, call the governor, say thank you first of all, because they stepped up in a way we haven't seen before, but tell them we need more. We got about a third of what we asked for, and all of us as Californians created a $21 billion surplus in California. I'll say that again, $21 billion in California. It's the rainy day fund. Well, it's raining out there. Might not feel it like today, but it is raining out there. We have a crisis, and we need even more. So call them, help them pass some of the important pieces of legislation that are there. Right now, there's a piece of legislation that we sponsored that will make all affordable housing under HHH for permanent supportive housing by right, so it doesn't have to go through all the CEQA delays. So please call and let people know that. Where's Ben? What's the number for that one, Ben? What's the number on that one? All right, you can look it up by the end of the speech. 1197, that is correct. 1482, yes, 1197. 1482 will stop rent gouging so that people can't raise your rent by 25 and 50% in a single year. And 1197 will help these projects get done even more quickly. Let me thank our public safety partners too, our senior lead officers that are here and our Los Angeles Police Department. I want to thank you guys for keeping this place safe, for Rampart Division, which was my home division for many, many years. But in conclusion, we don't run from challenges in this city, we run to them. And we believe in a better future for everybody. So thank you all for being a part of this work, whether it's turning out to a community meeting, whether it's as a funder, city, and others that have stepped forward to make this happen, whether it's the state, our local folks, or anybody who just came here today to welcome neighbors. People fear affordable housing until it opens, and then they realize, oh my gosh, they've got these beautiful, wonderful new neighbors. And a lot of people will walk by this willing to pay market rate, say, how do I get into that place? We'll say, nope, it's not for you. This is for a special group of people who've been waiting a long time for the housing, and now it is theirs. They deserve it. Muchísimas gracias. Felicidades a la comunidad por su activismo, por su visión aquí en Pico Union. Este es el centro de esta ciudad. Y tenemos muchos más proyectos aquí en Pico Union, en Los Ángeles. Necesitamos parar la indigencia en Los Ángeles. Este es un crisis, pero con su ayuda nosotros ganaremos. With that, let me introduce my brother, a man who should come up here with a hat, I think. You know, it's pretty styling, but he is definitely one of the finest dressed elected officials, but it isn't just what he wears, it's what he does and what his heart is all about. Please welcome your council member, Gil Cedillo.
I'll let you in on a secret. My preference is to introduce the mayor rather than follow him in his presentations. And it's quite evident, Mr. Mayor, I hate to keep bringing this up, but I know who my first choice was for president. And Yeah, now we're waiting on everybody else. Thank you, Mayor, for your calm and steady and stellar leadership. We are in a crisis, and it's quite evident, and there's an incredible sense of urgency, and we all feel it. But building a house isn't something that you can shout at. Building a house is something that requires a lot of discipline, a lot of planning, a lot of tenacity, Bob. And so I want to thank all those who participated in this. If you look at the facade outside, it's actually spectacular in its subtlety. It's spectacular because it preserves the integrity of the neighborhood. And so we didn't disrupt the neighborhood to build these units. And as the mayor said, all the seniors deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and no more so than at this time of their lives. And so, Mr. Mayor, I thank you for your leadership, for the calm and steady and disciplined approach you're taking, because this crisis requires that. It doesn't allow us, we're not permitted to simply be emotional about it. What we need is your discipline and your guidance as we take each thread, right, 24 units, each thread of this fabric, this mosaic, that's going to result in the housing of every person in the city of LA. And so we're on the march. We're headed in that direction. This will happen. I keep telling people, I don't know what you're going to do when all of a sudden, and you know the numbers with exactly, all of a sudden these units open up, right? And that's going to happen. And then we're going to have to hear what people come up with then, because it's happening. I know it's happening in the first. We are almost cutting a ribbon every month. We are breaking ground almost every month. We did Casa Azul just recently. Yesterday my staff told me we did 11,000 showers. People don't see that. 11,000 showers. We have a mobile shower unit. And I was very pleased with those numbers. I'm not pleased that we have to provide that, but I'm pleased that since we do have the trucks that they are being used, we have 3 safe parking places. We're moving RVs off the streets. So we are making progress. It's not going to happen overnight, but this problem didn't happen overnight. This problem was long in the making. We're talking decades in the making. And so it's not going to resolve itself overnight. And so, Mr. Mayor, let me again, and I can never thank you enough for your leadership and how you're guiding the city and how we're moving forward. All of us get faced with our challenges in life and our crosses to bear, and we are doing it with your leadership. Bob, thank you for your tenacity, because you don't need to do this. We need you to do it, but you don't need to do this. But thankfully you do. And you could have stopped at any moment. This is a frustrating process. I've learned this is probably one of the more challenging and difficult things to do, endeavors to take on, is to build housing in any city because it requires so much. And so I thank you for your leadership. Sylvia, thank you for always being a great leader. I want to thank my staff. I want to thank everybody who was involved in this. But most of all, quiero decir gracias a los residentes también y toda la comunidad que vive aquí en Pico Union. Vamos a mover siempre adelante, poco a poco. Nosotros sabemos que existen estos problemas, pero nosotros estamos pasando adelante. Diario, poco a poco, adelante, con el liderazgo de la ciudad, de la unidad de nosotros. Existen problemas en toda la nación. Es un tiempo muy duro, muy difícil, muy oscuro, pero nosotros somos personas de fe. Nosotros somos personas de familia y somos personas de comunidad. Y de eso nosotros vamos a mover siempre adelante. Gracias, alcalde, por su liderazgo. Gracias a todos que están aquí, pero particularmente gracias a todas las familias que están aquí por su liderazgo, por su paciencia y por su confianza en todos nosotros. Felicidades a todos. Muchísimas gracias. Sean, I hope you'll appreciate this, but I will be a little less celebratory. But I love you nevertheless. Sean and his department really are doing God's work. They are the better angels. It's not easy to be responsible for the challenges that confront the city and yet not be appreciated. And one of the things, we just settled a great settlement over in Chinatown, and one of the things I told my staff is that, this staff works hard and the department works hard. And it's just that the challenges aren't easy. I mean, you are really faced with the most remarkable challenges. I remember speaking to the entire department at one of your retreats. And I said, wow, what a challenge to get up every single day and to say, we are the department that must solve this problem. It's exciting, must be scary, but it really is a challenge. And it's a challenge for which the leadership is meeting that challenge. And so, Sean, thank you so much for what you do for the city. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for doing all the things that you do. With that, Sean.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, I recall one of the first things that a mentor of mine back when I was a young development specialist in San Francisco said to me. And he said 2 wise things that you need to carry throughout your career. The first is never follow an elected official on a speech, because yours is never going to be that good. And secondly, be brief, because the people and the cameras are not here for you. So I just want to very quickly say, it was a pleasure really working with the partnership of 1010 Development as well as Valued Housing. The work that they have done in bringing this project across the finish line has been tremendous. I think as Bob outlined, this has been a multi-year struggle, far beyond what is even normal for an affordable housing project. But I think it speaks to their tenacity in really getting this project done. Not really being able to add much more than what both the mayor and the councilman said. It could go on and drown about, how much we're trying to do as a department and the number of units involved, and as well as the amounts of funds. I would just want to say I'm going to turn this a little bit on its ear and talk a little bit about some fun facts that I know about these guys as your developers and owners, because I've known them for several years. So you may not know that Bob and I are actually Fannie Mae alumni, but Bob was much smarter because he got out before the downturn. I want to also say Peter Barker and Chris Kolbenslag, I've known them for several years as well. Now, Peter has a hidden talent actually as a bartender. He makes a very mean drink, heavy on the alcohol, so much that he could set them on fire. He showed that once to us. Now, the person that came afterwards that tried to repeat that almost burned the bar down, but that's a whole different other story to be told. So I say that in terms of the fact that these guys came together as a partnership, and they really worked hand in hand to move this project forward. And I think you have the added benefit of not only they being the developer of this really beautiful project, but also being your long-term owners. Between both being your owner as 1010 Development, but also, Barker Management is here, and they're excellent property managers. I think you will find that they will be your go-to people to talk to, and to really make sure that this goes beyond just being a building, but truly being a community. So I really want to congratulate the team there, congratulate our fellow financiers on the project, Citibank and amongst others, as well as our 4 Capital. But also to say that I really want to congratulate the residents. You really have a beautiful home here, as well as a great team that will stay by you all the way through your tenancy here. So congratulations and thank you.
I'm not done yet. Thanks, Sean, Mayor, Councilman. It was good to hear those words. It's encouraging. So some of you may be wondering why this is called Casa Carmen. And it got its name from Carmen Vaughn. There's a plaque in the entryway honoring her. She has been a lifelong supporter, advocate, tenacious champion of Pico Union. And I have a great deal of affection and respect for Carmen. She was always supportive. She attended more meetings than I could count to speak on behalf of homeless seniors. She reached out to any and all who she thought could help realize this community. She reminded me when I was discouraged that our seniors needed to be cared for. There was a lot of reminding, by the way, in that. She had a lot of opportunity. And as her children know, she can be scolding, because if trash piled up out here before we started construction, if it wasn't gone within an hour, she was calling me, letting me know, Bob, we've got trash. Come on, honey, get over here. I couldn't move fast enough. One day Tanya and I were talking to Carmen in preparation for this event, and I asked her, I said, if you could say something to the community, what would you tell them? And this is her quote: get involved with your community. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to call elected officials. If you think they don't care about the community's needs, call them, remind them. She lived those words. So when it came to naming the building, who else but Casa Carmen? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next speakers who can tell you more about Carmen than I, her son Richard and daughter Patricia.
Well, good morning. This is truly a beautiful and wonderful day. And it does take strong leadership from city, state, and the federal level to solve the crisis that we're in. There's no doubt about it. It takes strong leadership. Bob, thank you. Mayor Garcetti, thank you very much. Councilman Cedillo, Mr. Spears, thank you very much. It's your strong leadership that's going to help the city of Los Angeles resolve its problem with homelessness, and we will rise and be a model city for all to look at. First off, our mother couldn't make it today to this grand opening, and she wanted to be here. She's home recovering after a brief stay in the hospital, but she wants me to extend her heartfelt thank you again to Bob, Mayor Garcetti, Councilman Cedillo, and Mr. Spears, and the entire staff of the 1010 Development Corporation, and everyone else who's involved in this amazing project. This building at one time, I remember when I was a kid, it was a one-story commercial building, exactly here at the corner of 11th and Burlington. And it has become an inspiration to others, and is now known as Casa Carmen, and created a legacy for someone very special. Maria del Carmen Garcia Vaughn, that's her full name. Our mother has dedicated her life by fostering compassion and human dignity for the less fortunate and the vulnerable. She's dedicated her life to uplift her community, her friends and neighbors, and others from all walks of life by giving them hope and inspiration, with not only her words, but with her actions. And yes, she is tenacious. She does not give up. And I think that's what we've got. We've got that spirit from her. She's taught us a lot. Mom, today is a celebration and recognition of your commitment to Casa Carmen. Your legacy to Casa Carmen and to the community as well will live on. You are an inspiration not only to your children and grandchildren, who I must say, my niece, her grandchildren, and my daughter, Ari, are here present along with my fiance, but she's also an inspiration to others. Your family, your friends, and the community of Pico Union, who we truly love, because this is our home, cannot be any prouder. Thank you, and we love you.
Hi, my name is Pat, Carmen's daughter. She wanted me to make sure that people were thanked for making this happen. Before I go on about that facade, my mom was a part of that. The reason why that facade is there because she, along with others, brought HPOZ in Pico Union. So you can thank my mom for that facade. That's the kind of stuff she does. She had her nose in everything. So she wanted to thank Bob. Thank you so much for honoring my mother in this way. You naming this after her, it just really solidifies my mother's legacy in the community and the city as a whole. So thank you so much. We're really appreciative of it. We were driving by from treatment and my mom saw Casa Carmen and her face lit up. So thank you so much. Honorable Mayor Garcetti, thank you so much for being here, taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. So thank you so much for being here. Pico Union is doing and has been doing its part to service the low-income community and the homeless community as well. As one of the first suburbs in the city of Los Angeles, we, I think, can provide an example for the rest of the city to look at and how it's done. So thank you. Councilman Cedillo, thank you so much. You're a busy guy too, I'm sure. So thank you for taking the time to honor my mom and, again, to show the residents of Pico Union that they're important enough to have the elected officials here to celebrate in this building. Martha Salcedo, she's with AEG. I don't know if she's here. My mom wanted to make sure that she was thanked. She adores that woman. AEG brought that pergola back in there. We drove by. She says, where are people going to sit, play chess, read a book? Like Bob says, she made a phone call. And I think she made it happen. So thanks, Bob, for working with AEG to make that pergola happen. For all the neighbors, Doña Mari, Jasmine, Andy, Don Roman, Mr. Scott, I see you all out there. Thank you so much for being there right next to my mom to make sure this community stays strong and vibrant, healthy, safe. And if you all just continue to support my mom, send positive energy her way, I'd appreciate that. Sheena and Tanya, thank you. Thanks for checking in on my mom. Love you guys. LAPD, it's great to see you guys. You know my mom, she's on you. So she loves to work with you guys. So thank you so much for helping to keep Pico Union safe. And to the new residents of Casa Carmen, thank you so much for being here. We welcome you into the community. We're really, I know my mom is looking forward to working with all of you. And again, welcome. And for everyone here, if you really want to choose to honor my mom, the best thing to do is, like Bob says, keep involved, stay involved. For the Casa Carmen residents, you have Mr. Garcetti and Mr. Cedillo here. Get their phone numbers. My mom, right? Well, they need your numbers too, right? My mom is not. She's not up to speed just yet, so while she's recovering, you need to be the eyes and ears of the community. If you see bulky items, graffiti, please give your council member a call, the mayor's office a call, and make sure that your community, our community, stays safe and vibrant until my mom gets back out there and she can continue and to crack the whip. All right, so thank you all so very much. And with that, my mom met this gentleman earlier, and she was like, this man needs to speak too. So it is my honor to introduce Carlos Gonzalez, a resident here at Casa Carmen, who wants to share the story about his journey that led him to Casa Carmen. Carlos.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Mayor, good morning. And I'm so happy to be here, to be a resident of Casa Carmen. It is hard to explain completely what is inside. Number one, I was selected to come and live in this place, and that's a lot for me. And I've been right here for 5 months, and I know it's not a dream. It's true that I live right here. But when I'm in my room, sitting down, I see my place, and I said, I live right here. That's mine. They give it to me. They said, that's for you. That's for you to live happy, to enjoy. And I said, that it's true, it's mine. When I walk in the building and see the building, I said, I live here. This building belongs to me. They give it to me. It's special to live in this place, and thank you to everybody. Thank you. Well, I don't know, but inside I cannot get that to show you my feeling, what I feel inside, what is really true. It's only that feeling when I live just with me forever. But the expression of the place that I live, the way that I live, it's amazing. It's people with a big heart who make this come true for me. I speaking for me because it's me the one has to deal every day with those emotions, those happiness, I don't know how long that wanna be inside in myself. I think forever, because I still not in shock, just impressed about the way that I live, the way I deserve to live as a human. And I really thank you, everybody, for make that dream come true, because it was a waiting dream and came true and emotional. And I'm so happy. Lo que estaba comentando es que doy gracias a todos por este edificio tan bonito, y que yo fui seleccionado para vivir aquí. Mi nombre fue seleccionado para vivir aquí. Y cada vez que tengo 5 meses aquí, y cada vez que veo mi apartamento, digo, es verdad, este es mío. Y lo veo y camino y veo todo lo que tengo. Me llena de mucha emoción, no sentimientos, sino que felicidad de saber, de ver lo que tengo, de ver dónde vivo, que puedo descansar bien, puedo sentirme bien, reír y caminar y todo. Pero lo que tengo dentro no se los puedo explicar, porque eso me pertenece a mí por dentro y no tiene explicación. Eso nada más yo lo voy a vivir cada día, cada momento que esté aquí. Con esas palabras les agradezco, and thank you everybody. Gracias a ustedes, los residentes, a everybody. Thanks again. Have a good day.
Wow. It's nice to know that you can make people happy. Thank you, Carlos, for sharing your story with us. Mr. Mayor, Councilman Cedillo, thank you so much for taking time from your very busy day to celebrate this moment with us. Richard and Patricia and the whole Vaughn family, thank you for sharing your mother's story and joining us today. Thanks again to everyone for taking time to celebrate this moment. Can I please ask the speakers and development team to rise for one more round of applause? It's Peter, Chris, everybody stand up, people. Thank you. This couldn't have been done. This could not have been done without these people. Okay, if I could now ask that speakers and the family joined me in the lobby for the official ribbon cutting ceremony. And then for everyone else who has the time, one of our residents on the first floor is graciously agreed to open up their home so you can see what a supportive housing unit really looks like. Thank you again. This has been a great experience.